Hello and happy Friday to you. Today, for my Happy Friday series, using what's in our stash, I'm going to be making some cupcake cards. I'm using this Sentiment by Stampendous, and then I'm going to be using this die from Cottage Cuts. It's the stitched cupcake dies. And I'm going to be using a paper pad from American Crafts. It's the Dear Lizzie Fine and Dandy paper pad. And this card is inspired by my work, actually. I had went in early this morning and I had an order for, that's the rooster. I am so sorry about that. He's in the front yard. It's actually a beautiful day outside, so they're all over the yard. But anyway, cupcake inspired. I had 300 cupcakes I made for the prom for a town that's close by my shop. Well, I got done and the cupcakes turned out so pretty. I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a cupcake card when I got home. So the sweets are on my mind, and so I thought, I'm going to make some cards. I'm going to make 2 cards today. Here I'm taking a piece of the pattern paper, and we need a liner, cupcake liner. So I'm cutting out the swirly part and then the cupcake liner. And I'm using, it's a red pattern paper. Nice. I'm going to take a little bit more of that red pattern paper and I'm going to cut out the toppers for it. I'm cutting out a heart and then I'm cutting out a cherry. We're going to make 2 cupcakes with this. So, and oops. Okay, now let's see. I think we need some frosting. So I think this pattern, well, this is like a whitewashed kind of pink pattern paper. I'm going to make that frosting. So I popped that out, and I popped out a heart and a cherry as well. And then I'm using this yellow and white polka dot paper, and we're going to make that some frosting too. And so I have all my pieces cut out, and now I'm going to be working on my front panel here. I'm taking this gray and white stripe paper, and then I'm going to do a little cheating. I'm going to take this black and white polka dot paper. I'm going to trim it down about 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to take my glue runner or my tape runner and I'm going to secure that directly down on my pattern paper, and then I'm going to place my die on top of it using some washi tape, and then I'm going to run the whole thing through my Big Shot. I've never had any problems running 2 pieces of paper through, so this just saves a little bit of time. Lovely. And carefully remove this tape. Nice. And that's going to be for our card base. And then I need one more piece. So I'm taking a smaller stitched rectangle die, and I want the stripes diagonal, so I placed it diagonally. And I'm going to run that through my Big Shot here. Now we have almost all of our pieces except for our sentiment piece. So I have a small stitched rectangle die, and I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock, and then I'm going to run that through as well. It's a very simple card, but I think it turned out so cute. So now we have all of our pieces. So let's stamp our sentiment. The sentiment, well, actually we're going to build our cupcake. I'm going to put the frosting on top here. And then we're going to add a little cherry on top. I'm using Tombow Mono multi-glue, and I use these little precision bottles, just easier for me to handle. I'm going to pop that up with some foam tape, and then we're going to do the exact same thing to our next cupcake. I'm going to put the red cherry over here. There we go. I'll put the pink cherry on the yellow paper here. There we go. And then the little red swirlies I'm going to add to the pink paper. Love this die set. It's just adorable. Cute little cupcakes. Nice. Okay, now that we have our cupcakes done, let's work on our sentiment. I'm using some VersaFine ink for this sentiment. It gives a nice crisp color. And the sentiment for this one says, "You're the icing on the cupcake." These cards are perfect because after I get done making them, at least the cupcake cards, I'll set them on the counter next to my cupcakes, and so when people come in to get cupcakes for a gift, they pick up a card too, so it works out good. I'm taking a standard A2 size card, and I'm going to place my front panel directly down on it, and then I'm going to pop up my sentiment sheet with some foam tape and peel off the backing here. And then we're going to place it just slightly to the left of the card here. Lovely. Okay, and then we're going to position our cupcakes around here. I'm going to pop the second one up too as well with foam adhesive. And lovely. Okay, and you know what? That top cupcake I'm not really happy with, so I think I want a different color topper. So there's a pale green pattern paper that has stripes on it. I think I'm going to use that. So I'm taking that die and I'm going to just run the heart and the cherry again through my die cut machine here. Okay, good deal. Now I'm going to carefully take off this cherry, and then I'm going to glue the little heart. I think that looks a lot better. Let's put the, yeah. Okay, now I'm going to be taking some glossy accents, and again, I just used the precision bottles. I take my big bottle of glossy accents and fill these up. I'm going over the heart, and then each one of those little polka dots on that frosting area there, and the cherry as well. Lovely, and we'll do the little swirlies. And the glossy accents adding a little bit of dimension, and I really like it. But I think it needs a little bling-a-ling, so I'm going to take some larger clear sequins, and I'm just kind of placing them around my card here. I'll put one more up here. I'm going to tuck it underneath. And that's it. This is my Happy Friday card, but I'm going to make one more card because I am in the sweet mood. So let's make another card. Here's a close-up of the final product here. Okay, now for my second card, I'm taking my Mini Misty and a piece of, this is watercolor paper. And I'm taking the little cake from the stamp set. Now, please don't ask me where I got this one from because I have no idea. I didn't label it or mark it. I'm so sorry. And I've had it forever, so I don't know where I got it. Sorry. But I'm using VersaFine ink and I'm stamping it. Lovely. And then I'm going to use some clear Nouveau embossing powder, and I'm going to heat set that. When I first started card making, I just organized all my stamps, and I never bothered labeling what stamps they were. I didn't even think of it. But I'm using for my little cake and my little cake plate, I'm going to be using my my Zig Clean Color real brush markers here. And up in the top corner, you'll notice I put the colors that I was using. And then I have my my water brush, and I put a little bit of water on my clear acrylic block up there. That way, if my water brush dries out, it's easier just to dab it on that. But I'm taking this beige and I'm just making a chocolate cake. My favorite colors, oh my gosh, pink and brown. If I could paint my building that color, I would. Okay, I'm going to go back over with a little pink for the cake plate. And again, I'm just blending it in with my water brush to soften the colors a little bit. And just real simple coloring. Lovely. Now I'm going to take my orange and I'm going to do the top part of my cake plate and blend it in again with my water pen. Very simple, very easy. And I love the way this looks. So cute. And then for those little circles there, I took the yellow and colored it in, and then I wanted like a teal color, so I added a little bit of a cobalt blue to my acrylic block and just daubed it, and then the colors blended together and made it real pretty blue. So I took my heat tool and I'm heat setting this or drying it so I could speed up the process here, and then I'm going to fussy cut this out. And for this this cutout, I'm going to be using I'm going to be making a little bit of a white border around it, because the cherry stems are so little that if I leave a little bit of a white border, it kind of flows better. So very easy to cut out though. You guys can use any sweet stamps for these cards because they're basic cards. Okay, now I'm using a paper pad. It's a 6x6 paper pad from Heidi Swapp. It's the Favorite Things paper pad, and this pad has some pretty kind of wild patterns, and I think it kind of goes good with my little wonky cake here. So I'm just grabbing a few pieces of pattern paper. And then I'm taking one of my stitched rectangle dies. This pattern paper has actually little yellow dots on it. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm going to run that through the Big Shot, cut that out. And then I'm going to be taking a smaller rectangle die, and I'm going to cut out the two pattern papers here. And they're going to be the same size. Of the two cards I made, this one's my favorite. I like the bold colors. I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to trim out a 1-inch strip for my sentiment. And for my sentiment, I'm using a stamp set from my stash, and it is by C&CT. And it is, let's see, it's the Ice Cream Treats stamp and die set. And the sentiment says, "You deserve a treat." And I'm just using VersaFine to stamp my sentiment. I'm adding some clear embossing powder. And then I'm going to go ahead and heat set that, just to make it real bold. Lovely. Now let's build our card. I'm taking, again, my standard size card base. I'm adding my pink paper directly to the card base, and then I'm adding this black and white pattern paper directly to the card base. I'm going to fishtail the end of my sentiment here, and then I'm going to adhere it to that kind of greenish yellowish pattern paper. Kind of position it where I want it, and then I'm going to flip it over and then add some foam adhesive, peel off the backing, and then I'm going to place that on my card base. And I'm thinking it's going to need a little bit more, so I'm grabbing my jute, my jute twines, and I'm trying to figure out what color would go pretty with it. And so I didn't like the solid, so I'm thinking a black and white baker's twine would go really pretty. So I'm wrapping it around 3 times, and then I'm going to tie it in a bow. Kind of lifted it up there a little bit. Kind of an afterthought, but it worked out nice. And then I'm going to trim off the ends here. Lovely. And now I'm going to pop up my cake. And peel off the backing. Very simple card, but you know what? You could put a cupcake here or anything. It looks adorable. Now we need some finishing touches, so I'm taking some glossy accents and I'm going over the cherries. And then I have, of course, we need a little bit of bling. So I have these little, they're like iridescent pearls, clear pearls, and those little circles on the bottom of the cake. Just for added dimension, I'm going to add 4 of them to the cake. And then I have a jelly roll pen. This is like a shimmering silver, and there's little dots on that cake, and I'm going around each one of the dots and then the base of the cake plate. And then I'm taking my white gel pen and going around my sentiment, faux stitching it just to make the white border kind of pop. And then since I had it out, I'm going over the little dots on the cake plate as well. And that's it. That's my Happy Friday sweet card. Here's a quick look at both of them. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day.